Gail Sokol, and welcome to Baking with Success. And today we're making chocolate eclairs. That's that crispy pastry shell stuffed with vanilla pastry cream and dipped in chocolate. Oh, it's so good. And you know what? That crispy pastry shell is made from a dough called pâte à choux. It's very French. And it only has 4 ingredients. And the 4 ingredients are 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of butter or 1 stick, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and 4 large eggs. To begin, I've put my 1 cup of water and my 1 stick of butter to a boil in a medium saucepan. And as you can see, the butter's melting, and we want to get nice bubbles before we add our flour. Give it a few minutes. You can see some bubbles starting. Once you get your bubbles starting, you want to add your flour all at once, and then you want to mix it. And don't be afraid to say, oh my goodness, this looks like mashed potatoes, because that's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like mashed potatoes. See how it all comes together and it gets really, really thick? Just let it cook for a little while, about a minute. And what you're doing is you're cooking the starchy taste out of that flour. Give it about 60 seconds. And then you're going to take it off the heat. And that's the beginning of your dough before we add our eggs. So you're going to add 1 egg at a time. You can let this cool down a little bit. Adding your eggs can be a little bit difficult because it looks like it's never going to mix in, but it will. So just give it some time. And then once the first one's mixed in, you can start adding the second. It can be a little bit of a messy business. Just keep on adding it. You want to hold as many eggs as you can, because this particular dough is steam leavened. That means there's no chemical leaveners to help it to rise. It's actually using all the water and the power of the eggs to leaven it. So that's how your eclairs are going to get nice and beautiful and puffy. Just keep working it. You didn't do anything wrong. It does look like you did something wrong, but you didn't. Add your last egg, 4 eggs. Once all the eggs are incorporated, look what you have. This beautiful, silky, almost looks like you can see egg yolks in it because it's slightly yellow and it's got that beautiful silky look to it. So that's your dough. Now we're ready to pipe out and make the eclair shapes. So I've loaded a pastry bag with a plain large round tip. And I have a knife so I can cut because the dough is a little thick. So I'm going to start 90 degrees to my parchment covered sheet pan, and I'm going to make long 3 to 4 inch lengths. And then I'm just going to give them a little whack with my knife. That's it. Keep on going. And you want to give them about 1 inch in between each one. If you like really big eclairs, make them a little bit bigger. But 3 to 4 inches is a pretty good size. Once you've piped out all your eclair dough onto your sheet pan, it's time to bake them. At 425 for 15 minutes, leave them in the oven for another 15 minutes, but lower the temperature to 350. They're going to get nice and puffy and golden brown, and then remove them from the oven and let them cool. And in the meantime, we're going to make our vanilla pastry cream. We're going to fill our eclairs with a delicious vanilla pastry cream, and it's so simple to make. Again, it's 1 pot. So in this bowl, I have 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 2.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, and that's going to be our thickening agent. I've taken 2 tablespoons of whole milk and 3 egg yolks. And that's going to be the basis for our custard, and I'm just going to whisk that. In this pot, heating up now and coming to a boil, I have 1 cup of whole milk and 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Now the whole milk, I took out 2 tablespoons of that 1 cup and put it in here. That was the 2 tablespoons you saw. And you see how it's nice and combined. Well, now we're going to temper our eggs. That's the basis for all custards. And we're going to gently get our egg yolks used to the heat. And you can see my milk is nice and boiling. So we're slowly going to get these egg yolks used to the heat of our milk by gently putting in a little bit at a time and incorporating it. These are times I feel like I want to be an octopus because I need more arms. But if you put a towel down, it really helps stabilize the bowl. Keep adding your milk in a slow stream. And then once you have a little bit in there, the eggs should be used to that temperature, and then you can just pour the rest in. And then I like to just wipe off the pot. And then you're going to pour everything right back in the pot. And this is where we're going to cook it, and it's going to thicken. All right, so now I'm cooking my mixture until it thickens. And I can actually bring it to a boil because I have cornstarch in here. And look, it come to a boil. And look how much it's thickening from that cornstarch. But it's not going to curdle because the cornstarch actually prevents that by elevating the coagulation temperature of eggs. Look at how beautiful our pastry cream is. It's gorgeous. When it comes to a boil, I'm going to let it boil for about a minute. And when it's been about a minute, I'm going to take it off the heat and I'm going to put in some vanilla extract. Beautiful, about a teaspoon. And you're just going to whisk it in. And now we have to chill this before we can fill our eclairs. Now our pastry cream is really hot, so we don't want to fill our eclairs just yet. So you're going to pour it into a bowl. And I remember as a kid, my mom making pudding from the boxes and then just putting it in the refrigerator like that. And what you're going to end up with is a protein layer called casein that's actually going to make a skin. And we don't want a skin, so we're going to put a plastic wrap layer. Just take some plastic wrap and put it directly on the pastry cream. Julia Child put a pat of butter on there instead. Julia would do that, right? Now you refrigerate this until it's nice and cold. Next, we have to make a topping for our eclair, so we're going to make a quick ganache. Half a cup of heavy cream brought to a boil with 1 tablespoon of corn syrup to give it a nice shine. And then we're going to put 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips once that comes to a boil, and just whisk until you get this beautiful chocolatey mass. Take it off the heat though. My heat is off. There we have our beautiful glaze for our chocolate eclairs. You can see our eclairs are beautiful and puffed, and they've cooled, and they're nice and crispy. And now I'm going to take a little skewer. You could take a toothpick, a little thin knife, and I'm going to poke a hole. Just poke a hole on either end, because that'll help us to inject them with some cream. And you're going to do that with each one. I'll do one more. Just give a little poke. And then we're going to inject them through a pastry bag fitted with, this is actually known as an injector, but you can actually use a little pastry bag, or you can just use a freezer bag if you'd like with the end cut out, but you got to really jab it into the hole. Sort of makes you feel like a doctor because you're giving your eclairs a shot, but a shot of delicious pastry cream. So you're going to fold your pastry bag so that it will receive your beautiful chilled vanilla pastry cream. We're just going to stuff that in there. Don't overfill it. Only about half full will do it. You can always refill. I actually exploded an eclair once, but it was so good. It just had a little too much pastry cream in it. Okay, so we'll try not to do that now. So you see what I've done? You see that little hole? We're going to go in that hole and just hold your injector, push it through and inject it. You can actually see the cream puff or the eclair sort of swelling up sometimes with the weight of the, with the pastry cream. Now I'm going to go on the other end, push it through. Ooh, and you see it did come out the other end a little bit. That's fine. Now we'll do another one just to show you. And if it does come out the other side under here, don't worry about it, just wipe it. This is the fun of eclairs, and you can see them swell. You can actually see them gain weight. Do both sides, squeeze it in, all right? Don't go too far or else you will have some eject out. And then you put it down. And then you continue doing all of these, and then at the end, you're gonna glaze them. So you're gonna take them from the bottom, put them upside down, and just sort of roll them around your ganache. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And you're gonna put that down there. And then you're gonna take your other one and you're just gonna put them just like that. And then these need to be chilled in the refrigerator. I'm gonna continue with these. Chill them in the refrigerator and then they're ready to eat. For this recipe and many more, and tips, and extra recipes as well, and even a little conversation about the baking process, visit my website at Baking with Success with Chef Gail Sokol. Until next time, I'm finishing my eclair. Oh, so good.